Hi everyone. Okay, hello everyone. Um, Hello lovely people. I'm back here again. My name is Kwame, and my page is Walking the Talk. Here on Emma's page, because we're building a family, we're building an empire. So we're all doing this together. Um, if you come here, just say hi so that I know you're here. Okay. So today our topic is burnout. Um, and that's what we'll be talking about today. So, if you have ever felt like you can never continue anymore, if you ever felt like you're working too hard, you're working too much, you're working more than anyone else, if you lose interest in work, you don't find any meaning in work anymore, when you're always exhausted and you're always tired, you always find out that your job is too boring, you might be suffering from burnout. So let me give you a definition that I came out with for burnout. So, burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. So, this is burnout, and it usually comes from work. So, when it's always continuing, like it never stops, and this is different from stress. Stress is when like you break down sometimes because um or maybe your mind is just full of so many things at the same time and you cannot get out for just a short period of time. That is stress. Burnout is when you feel like you are out of it, you can never continue anymore. Your burnout, and it tends to affect like all parts of your life, your work life, your social life, your family life, or your home life. It affects everything. And since you're burnout, you lose interest in doing any kind of work. Now, if you if you see any of these signs and symptoms, you might be struggling from burnout. And this is like prolonged, it's consistent. So if you feel like, or if you've seen anyone, or if ever talked to someone who has this kind of signs and symptoms, they're probably not suffering from stress, they're just burned out. One of it is every day is a bad day for you. So you find out that you've never had a good day for a long time, like for about a week or 2 weeks or even a month. Every day seems to be a bad day for you. You are suffering from burnout. And that is one of the symptoms. It's not just one. I'll go down the list and let you know all the things. Like if you see one or two or three of them combined for a long period of time, you're suffering from burnout. When you're always tired, you're always exhausted, like um, you don't feel like doing something. You don't have any goal. You don't have the motivation to do anything. And the next thing is you find your work to be boring all the time, even though your work is like creative or demanding. It is always boring for you. You might be suffering from burnout. Okay, so it is a real thing. Hi, Betty. Welcome. I know you'll be here. Yeah, so burnout, at least one person or once in your life you've witnessed or you experienced burnout. So let's lay it out and then find solutions for them. So, one other thing that you might also see in someone who is going through burnout is decreased immunity. When you continuously doing something and you pushing yourself, you push your body to a point where stress becomes continuous and it becomes permanent and your body cannot take it anymore. So your immune system breaks down. It's permanent stress. Stress is good for us sometimes, but when stress continues for a long time that we don't get any break from it, we tend to break our own system down. So, um, those of you who keep pushing yourself, if you're a person who have been listening to all these motivational speakers or these life coaches, and they keep pushing you, or you have a friend or family member who pushes you to do your best all the time, and you have that motivation to also push and push, be the best you can ever be from you. You push to a point where you cannot handle it anymore. And this is where you reach that point where you become burned out. It is good to have people to motivate you and push you and make you the best out of yourself. But when you push too much and you don't get any rest, you don't get any break, you tend to lose motivation for that thing. You tend to see that positive thing that you've been chasing after, and it will now turn into a negative thing for you because you don't see that motivation or the good thing that you saw in it in the first place. So watch out. Um, it is so good. It's midnight. Is it midnight? Oh no, it's not midnight here. I think you're 2 hours ahead of me. So yeah, it's not midnight here. It's 10 p.m. over here. Yeah. Okay, so one other thing is that you're always sleeping, or you're always sleepy, or you don't sleep at all. One of these signs can also be a manifestation of burnout. Oh yeah, thank you. Well, we all need to look out for each other. Burnout can also lead to um, loss of appetite. So if you see one of two or three of these symptoms, you might be looking at burnout, and then you might need to start looking for solutions for them. You also feel trapped, like you work in a big place, but you feel trapped in one small place. Or maybe you work on your own, you have your own company, but you still feel trapped. You don't feel like you have your own freedom. You feel like you are in this box that you have to work in. Before you started working over there, maybe you didn't see it that way. And now that you're burning out, that's how you see things. You can also have um, a decreased sense of accomplishment. Even though you're working, you are accomplishing things, you're making progress, you still don't feel it. It doesn't occur to you. You don't appreciate the fact that you're making progress in your life. You are close to burnout. And when you burn out to the point where you cannot have any return, that is the point where everything start breaking down on you, and then it is so hard to pick up. Okay, with resilience, being able to pick yourself up, um, and bounce back into life and livelihood is resilience, and that is so hard when you hit rock bottom that you cannot see yourself going back up. So when you lose that sense of accomplishment, um, it's a sign of burnout. And you start withdrawing from people, you start withdrawing from work, you start calling off, or you start procrastinating. When you see that work is supposed to be done, you know it's your part of the job, but you keep pushing it back. You keep pushing it back. Um, and every time you do that, you know that you're burning out. You're losing focus. You're losing interest in your own job. And then people start using food um, to cope. Some people use drugs and even alcohol to cope because now they cannot push themselves anymore. At the beginning, they were excited, they were pumped about it, they wanted to push, 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 and now they're burned out. So they just lose focus, and then they need something to keep pushing them to at least do something. So they turn to food, they start binging, or they start taking drugs or even alcohol. Some people just use caffeine to just pick themselves out. They're already burned out. Instead of them finding solution, they try to hide it and turn to other things that will not help them. Mind you, caffeine is very addictive, and the day you decide to stop, just like alcohol, you get withdrawals. So if you take any of this um, for occasions, or if it's occasional, coffee or anything, caffeine, energy drinks, it's fine. Like once in a while, if you want to take it for something, I'm not talking about drugs, just caffeine and or alcohol, if you're an alcohol person. But if it gets to a point where you need it to survive, you might want to look at it. And that's just as a side note. Um, let me look at the comments here. Oh, Betty. Yeah. Yes, I have cold. We're all recovering. So yeah, physically and mentally, I'm actually down. So I don't know. I don't know if my mental health affected my physical health, but whatever it is, when you hit rock bottom, like Emma said, you look for opportunities at the ground level. And one quote that I heard from um, a movie that I watched is that when you hit rock bottom, there's only one way to go, and that is up. So, well, I'm on my way up. So now when we see all these signs of um, burnout, if you see someone with one or two or three of this, um, at least you should see more than two. Then you have like solid evidence that this person or you yourself is going through burnout. Now let's look at what causes burnout. Okay, now we know that it is a prolonged stress that we don't get any break from, and this is usually coming from our workplaces or the jobs that we do, or even some if you want to go, or I mean, if you have exercise routine that you want to go on at the beginning, you're pumped, and then 2 months, 3 months down the line, you're like, I can't do this anymore. I need someone to pull me along. You can't pull yourself up. It's because you're burned out. The goal um, was good. The idea and the motivation was there. It was good, but you just did it too much. So let's look at the causes. One of them is lack of recognition or reward. Sometimes when you're doing something that you're progressing, you need to reward yourself. Now, if the reward should come from other places, you need to make sure that you get those rewards. If you work in a place that they promise rewards or they don't even have any rewards, try to remind them that, I mean, if you work for a company for a year, at the end of the year, they should kind of have some kind of competition to pump people up. Or you also can buy yourself gifts, get that side job, get yourself a gift. I said this on my page that the money for gifts and luxury things should come from your side job. Your main salary should be set aside for asset. And that's just also another side note. But get yourself some kind of gift. Go for that gift from the company or wherever you work. Make sure you set aside some money to reward yourself. If there's lack of reward, then there's no point in working so hard. And that's why most people burn out. And then when people are overly, they're working in an overly demanding workplace, okay, or their job is just overly demanding, or they have demanding expectations. When it's just too much for you, it gets to a point of break. You can't do it anymore. And when it gets to that point, you know that you are close to burnout. And another thing is working in a very confused or chaotic area or workplace. Most of the time, it's health professionals that get burnout so quick because their workplace is always chaotic. Someone is yelling over here, someone is calling for help over here, call lights up and down, and the doctors are yelling and nurses are yelling and whatever. There's so much going on. If you're working in a construction place, same thing. It's the noise and the alarms and whatever. If you work in a place that is like emotionally demanding or physically demanding, it gets to a point where you break down a little bit. So um these are some of them. Okay, there's some more of the just a minute. Some more of these causes. We have lack of sleep. If you work, or you don't sleep, yeah, you're close to getting burnout. Or you are the person that wants everything to be perfect. You're a perfectionist. Nothing is just good enough. In your own life, you want things to be that perfect. I know there are some people who have OCD um, that are still working on them. There are people who have a little bit of the OCD and they're trying to improve on it. Wherever you might be, sometimes not being a perfectionist or sometimes not having it the perfect way is okay because you will burn out. If you don't get everything accomplished like the way you planned it, and there's too much work for to meet your kind of strength, you're going to burn out. And then some people also have the need of wanting to be in control. They always want to control their surroundings. Even though the company might not be theirs, they might not be the supervisor, they want to control the situation in the workplace. If you're such a person, it's easy for you to burn out because some people might not care like you do. Some people don't even are not even organized like you are. So when it happens that way, definitely. Definitely you're gonna burn out because you always want it to be done. You always want to see how things are done. Always want to be in control. You want to see what is going up there in the higher levels. Maybe you just came to the job or you're just bottom of the food chain. But the way things are conducted is it doesn't work with you. So you want to see up there. You want to be in control. If you cannot be in control or you always want to be in control, there's some things that will be out of control. And when those things happen, you become burned out. Um, some people also want to work alone. They want to work by themselves. They just want to be on their own and working. And when the job is very demanding or too much, now they feel lonely. They cannot accomplish the work at the same time, on their own at the same time. So they burn out. And then when some people also like to work too much. If you want that person who likes to work, and no rest, no play, no fun, you will burn out easily because you have to mix fun with work and social life and other things. If you're just focused on work, maybe with the first year you might succeed, the second year you might, third year you break down. And then when you burn out, it is so hard to bounce back because you kind of reached the point of no return. If you're listening to me and you're going through some kind of stress that has been going on for a little bit, maybe 2 weeks, a week, or even more, it might break you down. So find ways to get out of it before it becomes too much or you actually burn out. Okay. Um, Now let's look at solutions. What can you do when you feel like you're burning out? You 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 you're getting tired. There's no motivation anymore. Everything becomes boring for you. You always have a bad day. Every day is a bad day for you. You're getting burnout. What can you do? First thing, look at yourself and look at your surrounding. What is going on? Look at your surrounding and look at what is going on. Look at what you are doing. Now, first thing you want to do is whatever that you're doing it too much. Maybe you might not be seeing it, but whatever you're doing, stop and start reversing slowly, slowly. So you might be working too much, but you never know. Maybe you're overworking, you never know because it's been your normal for maybe the past 5 years. Now start reversing and take some breaks. Or maybe you always want to be in control. You've been the one that is always in control. You control things here and there, and everything is like aligned perfectly the way you want it. Maybe letting some things go will help. Start turning around. Maybe you might be this person um that is not getting the reward. Get yourself the reward. If you're not sleeping enough, start getting some naps during the day. If you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, remember, you push, you rest, and you push. I learned this when my wife was giving birth. When someone is giving birth, they give you time to push. You push, 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 and they tell you rest, because there's time that your womb will be contracting. The guys who don't know, this is a little tip for you. There will be a time that the womb will contracting, and whenever it's contracting, that's the time you also help the womb and you push. And when everything is relaxed, you relax. So when you go to work and the work become chaotic, just go with the flow and do it. And then when you come home or you get some break, make sure you get that break. Some people on their break will still be responding to calls or whatever. Let work stay work, and your break, you enjoy it. Make sure you enjoy your break times. I used to work in a place where people used to get cigarette breaks, and I realized every time they go out and they come back, it's not just about the cigarette that they smoke. It's about the little break that they got. Like 5 minutes break, 2 minutes break. So I started following them. And every time I go out with them, we just talk, talk, talk. I come back, I feel refreshed. 2 minutes, just 2 minutes of quiet time. Just go get it and come back. You feel refreshed. And that is how you start getting yourself back. Now, you also want to turn to people around you, people that you know that they can help you. Usually, we have people that we work with. Okay. Um, you have to be very sociable, and not very, but you need at least one or two. If you're a sociable person, good for you. You can use that time to socialize, to get to know other people. Or you can also make sure that you cancel negative people from your life. When you have people who are always nagging or complaining or procrastinating, you tend to be like them in your life. So if you have those people in your life, try to start refraining from them. People who like nagging, complaining, and whining, and you know, they're always against something about work. They never like work. These are the people that you need to start backing up from. Okay. And then you need to also reframe how you see work. Because sometimes we believe that we just have to go to work, do whatever they want me to do, and then go home. When it becomes a routine like that, you get tired of it. It becomes boring, and then you burn out really quick. Maybe you want to see your work as a way to give or to input in Mother Nature. Let's say you are a construction worker, and definitely there's some part of your work that is needed in the society. If you look at it that way, you might be able to feel good about your work and then give it a little bit. The way you see work, okay? Try to find some balance in your work. Sometimes you do this a little bit or that. If you find out that your job is just not for you, instead of staying there and getting burned out, try to look for other opportunities. You can look for other opportunities in the same workplace or in a different place, but make sure you get another job before you leave your current one. It is very, very important. So the way you see your job, the way you see your workplace, the way you see work itself as a whole also counts, so that you don't just get burned out. Okay. Um, you also want to have friends. You need at least one friend at your workplace that you can discuss with. On your break, you can't just go and stand there and look at or get some breeze or look at the air. Some people are like that. They don't have friends at work. Someone you can talk to about work or even things, life in general. You need one person like that. Sorry, it's just my nose is not cold is just killing me, so bear with me. You want to set boundaries. Set boundaries to a point where you will. This is where I end. I will not work after this point. Now, some people are used to working overtime and working more and more. Those who like to work. Sometimes people are just trying to escape some part of their life or something in their life. So they turn to work, 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 work so that they can't forget that thing. Someone can lose a loved one, and then instead of thinking about it or worrying about it or maybe reminding herself about the death and the pain that it comes with, they'll just turn to work and they work, 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 work. Or maybe they just got out of a bad relationship and it's affecting their life, so they just turn to work and they do it all the time. Okay, set boundaries. Make sure you get some time for you yourself, and that is how you get some healing. Um, and also find some time to break off social media or technology as a whole. If you work in a place where there are machines or you watching and looking at the screen all the time, make sure you find time to break off from it. Go look at the bridge, just the bridge at your workplace or the gutter, how it came to be, how the gutter got filled up and it got choked. Just look at it. Get your mind off work or from a screen or from the noise. Okay, it will help. Um, Try to also find some creativity. Be creative with your work. Okay, if your work is very monotonous and it's just receiving calls and you have a like a set a set like phrases that you have to repeat to customers, try to make it sound nice to you yourself if you're listening to that thing on the side of the phone. Or let's say you're a teacher and you've been teaching the same topic for years. Try to find ways to present those things in different ways. Be creative, be dynamic, come up with something new. Always be thinking about something else. And it brings the spark that you started with. You will not break down, you will not burn out if you have some kind of creativity. Okay. Every day you come to the classroom, um, you stand in front of the class and teach. Maybe one day you just come early to class and you sit at the back and watch how the student. It's part of teaching and it's part of creativity. Students will be surprised to see you sitting in their chair or something like that. It always work that way. So find some kind of creativity. The next thing I want to talk about is get some time to rest. Now, rest is very important to your body and also to your mind. I'm not talking about rest that you just go lie down and then get your phone and then you be pressing on your phone and you be laughing, quack, 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 or whatever you be doing. I'm talking about the rest that you get for yourself and then nobody else. It's just you. You think about your life, you think about nothing. For most guys, thinking about nothing is the best thing we can ever do for ourselves. You think about nothing for about 30 minutes, it's good. You can plan something, you can plan a program. It's you use something to relax. Okay. Those of you who are into crafting, you can use crafting to relax. If you're a painter, just paint something. If you're a musician, get a instrument or sing or do something. Get time off work. If your work is your hobby, get time off your hobby or your work. You need some time to relax. Just do nothing is also important. And the last one I want to talk about is eat well. Make sure you're eating a balanced diet all the time. Most people, or most of us who get burned out are the ones that are trying to do everything in a hurry, trying to get control of everything. So we end up eating fast foods. We end up eating food that is already made so that we can have time to work. Now, find some time to cook for yourself, get balanced diet. And this will also help build your immune system. When you're stressed for a long time, your immune system breaks down. Now, if you're burned out, it means your immune system is already down and you have to build it up. Drink a lot of water and then eat healthy. Burnout is a thing. And we all know, I've seen people who have been burned out. I've been burned out before, and it's not a good thing. So take care of yourself. Don't get burned out. Do the right thing. My name is Kwame, and this is on my show, but my page is Walking the Talk on Facebook. Please like and follow my page because there's a lot of information out there that you might need. And I know that we're all supporting each other as a community. If there's any questions or concerns or anything that you want to know more about burnout or any topic, you can just shoot me a message and I'll come talk about it, or I can respond to you personally. So this is what I have for you. Um, Going to do some studies and get some sleep. So see you all. Peace.